Hi guys! Thought I would set the mood since, normally when you're on a detox, it's very, very spiritually invested, right? So, hi guys, my name is Leah Moore and welcome to the Step into Spring Detox. This is the 5-day introductory series to the what, why, and how to actually do a hair detox, because I know it's not something we're so familiar with. You're pretty familiar with detox in general, mainly usually in a juice cleanse or maybe a cayenne pepper lemonade, maple syrup concoction. Some people have even gone as far as doing a social media detox, which means basically getting your butt off social media, which please don't do right now because I need you right here. I need you right here in this space right now. So welcome. I am so excited to talk to you guys about a hair detox. And I can tell you it's not something I ever thought about or actually had anyone ever tell me about. It's something actually I experienced and I've seen numerous different people experience. Most recently, now that we're all becoming more conscious of the elements and the details and the things that we're using on our hair, our skin, ingesting, any of those kinds of things. But because we are talking specifically about hair detox, I'm going to ignore all the rest of that stuff. Yes, what we're intaking, our water intake, our foods that we're eating, the supplements we're taking, those are all things that are going to benefit or harm us in terms of detoxing our hair. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Today, we're here to talk about it's not you, it's your products. I'm so sorry, honey. Actually, maybe it's not a sorry. It's a good thing because that's something you have a lot of control over now. And it's something that you can very easily rectify. Now, I'm going to take a quick second because I want to just make sure that I am actually up and live. So I'm just going to refresh my browser here just to make sure that I am actually running on the page and that you guys can see me. Let's see. Scrolling down, and of course my computer stopped. Okay, yes, so it is live. It is running. I'm hoping that the video quality is better than what I am seeing there. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to do something about this. Scrolling down, and of course my computer stopped. Okay, yes, so it is live. Okay. It is running. I'm hoping that the video... Yes. Okay. So we look like we're in good shape. So I am going to continue on with today's information. So this is the way it's going to go. So basically over the next 5 days, we're going to talk about various elements, various things about the detox process, why the detox process can be a viable or a valuable tool to your hair care system, or your hair care just in general. And the fact that if you go through it once, it's possible not to have to go through it again. Or maybe you might go through it multiple times. Or as the seasons change and as the years change, your hair changes. And we're going to address some of those things as well. So let me start off with the hair care industry. So I don't know about you, but I was brought up with curly hair. I mean, not all of you are, so I get that. But I was brought up to, I have my hair and it's fantastic. And I always went to the salon and I always purchased whatever my stylist told me to purchase. And that was pretty much the end of the discussion in terms of how I selected my hair care products. Then as I got a little bit older, I decided, you know what, I don't necessarily need to listen to them, as we all do, right? I can just go to the store. I mean, geez, we got Target and Ulta and Sephora. And they all carry fabulous hair care products. So let me just go through. Well, I know that for me, the way that I typically purchased my products was by smell. So I would open up a bottle, smell it. If it smelled good, okay, I'd use it. I'd take it home, use it for a couple days. If it felt good on my hair, I continued to use it. If it didn't feel good on my hair, I was off to the store to buy something else, which I think is typically what happens for most of us. The other thing that typically happens for most of us is that we find ourselves changing our hair care products about every 3 months. And what we find is it's not working the way it was before. It's not giving us the same results that we're expecting or had been expecting prior to once we started using the products. So I know that I experienced that, and I thought it was a curly girl thing, and I realize that now more and more that it's actually a thing that's pretty standard within the industry. So if it's standard amongst everybody and everybody's doing it, then there's one thing to me that seems to be an issue, and that is the hair care products themselves, right? If I had superior, high quality, excellent hair care products, I shouldn't have to be constantly changing my products because my hair is my hair. It's not really evolving that much that I should have to change my products every 3 months. My hair isn't changing every 3 months, you know, overall. Yes, I'm getting new hair growth. Yes, but the whole texture of my hair shouldn't be changing every 3 months. That doesn't make sense. It just logically doesn't make sense. So I started taking a look into the industry, and you know, some of the interesting things is that we have a lot of federal regulations on things that we intake. Our vitamins, the Food and Drug Administration takes care of food. They talk about, you know, various things that we get in contact with, but to actually find out that they have no regulations over hair care products except for the color ingredients that are going in. So there's no FDA regulation on cosmetics, on the cosmetic industry 95% of the time. The biggest time that they actually get in place is when somebody makes claims to something and then they're not following through on those claims. That's typically about the only time that the FDA really steps in. So I just wanted to read you this because this actually came from the FDA website. It says the FDA's legal authority over cosmetics is different from our authority over other products we regulate, such as drugs, biologics, and medical devices. Under the law, cosmetic products and ingredients do not need FDA pre-market approval, in the exception of color additives. However, FDA can pursue the enforcement action against products on the market that are not compliant with the law, or against firms or individuals who violate the law. In general, except for color additives and those ingredients that are prohibited or restricted by regulation, a manufacturer may use any ingredient to formulate a cosmetic, provided that 1. The ingredient and the finished cosmetics are safe under labeled and customary conditionary use. 2. The product is properly labeled. And 3. The use of ingredients does not otherwise cause the cosmetic to be unadulterated or misabandoned under the laws of the FDA enforcers. So, as many of us know, as we start to look into the quality of products that we're using, whether it be the quality of products that we're using in our households, the foods that we're intaking, the cosmetics that we're wearing, the lotions that we're putting on our bodies, the regulations that we have in the United States are very lax in terms of what is allowed in versus what is not permitted into a product, as it is in so many other countries. European countries, Canadian countries, all way more advanced in terms of what is not allowed in the products. In our country, we ban about I think it's like 5,000 chemicals. In other countries, it's more like 50,000 chemicals. I know these numbers because I used to know them very well for another product line that I worked with, but I've forgotten them, so I'm going to have to look them up again, and I will share them. So what is a person to do, right? What are you supposed to do? I'm going to start off there because this is something that you can very, very easily do, and I want you to get acquainted with this. If you want to grab a pen and paper and you want to take some notes, because I'm going to have a little homework for you at the end, I want you guys to be involved. I have a little homework for you at the end that you can actually go and do and find out for yourself. I'm going to give you a list of ingredients that are definitely not to be on your top list, right? And the reason why they should not be in your ingredients or in your product lines. And there's several different reasons. So before I get to that, one other thing I wanted to mention is some of the reasons why we would detox. Of course, you know, We'll get into that again a little bit more with some of the other topics. But one of the obvious reasons why you would go through a hair detox is to eliminate these items from your hair care product lines. And in doing so, it's going to ratify your hair. When you eliminate toxins, when you eliminate parabens, we're going to get into this in a second, silicones, sulfates, harmful ingredients from your product line, your hair is going to respond differently. And we'll get into this again too. It will give you results that you may not be desirable initially, but it's just like any other detox that you would go through. You don't do a just cleanse knowing that you're not going to have a twinge of hunger, or you might end up with a headache. You know that these things are part of the process, and in knowing it's part of the process, you're able to get through it that much faster. And that's really my hopes for you. So if you've had the time to go grab your pen and paper, let me get you a list of ingredients and the reasons why you might want to eliminate them from your hair care products and some of the other products that you have that you use on your body specifically. Once you hear this list, you're going to understand why. So the first one, you know what? I'm going to go back to my computer because, it means I'm going to have to do this. Whoop. Sorry, guys. I just realized it would be so much easier if I read it directly, because then I can, rather than looking at my paperwork here. And I'm going to tell you right now, I am not the scientist. This has never been something that has been of interest to me. I've never looked into chemicals and ingredients until I started getting a little more aware of what I was using on my skin and my hair and how it was making a difference after all. So the first ingredient that we're going to talk about are parabens. Parabens, are widely used preservatives that prevent the growth of bacteria, mold, and yeast in products. That actually sounds pretty good, right? That's something you want. You don't want to have mold coming in your products. You don't want to have a little bacteria and put that on your hair. That sounds kind of gross, right? But you know, they actually do way more than that. Parabens actually possess an estrogen-like or estrogen mimicking properties that are associated with the increased risk of breast cancer. So these chemicals are absorbed into the skin, and they've been identified in biopsy samples from breast tumors. So this isn't just somebody saying, oh, well, it mimics estrogen production. No, in biopsy samples, they're actually getting breast tumors, they're getting actual samples of parabens. And these are the things that we're putting on our body through our body washes, through our makeups, through our shampoos and our conditioners. So if I were you, that would be probably my number one, especially being a woman. Although, breast cancer can affect men as well. But that would be one of my top level removers out of my system if I were going to start being much more conscious. Now, this is one that more people are conscious of, sulfates. So sodium lauryl sulfate, sodium laureth sulfate, SLS and SLES. A lot more people are familiar with this because we think about it, especially for us who color our hair, redheads and those who do creative colors. You guys are very familiar with this. You understand that sulfates strip, okay? The sulfactant, these two in particular, can be found in 90% of our personal hair care or personal care and cleaning products. So it's what creates that thickening, foaming properties that we all love, that lathering that we do when we shampoo our hairs. So SLS is known to be a skin, lung, and eye irritant. A major concern about SLS is the potential to interact and combine with other chemicals to form carcinogens. These combinations actually lead to a host of other issues like kidney and respiratory damage. And again, they're found in our shampoos, our body washes, our cleansers, our mascaras, our acne treatments. So again, sulfates and SLS and SLS are definitely two things that I, again, would suggest taking out of the lineup. Another one is DEA or MEA. So, here's where I tell you, I'm not a scientist. I don't do well with the scientific terms necessarily. So I'm going to get to these as closely as possible. If I said them wrong and there's somebody on here who knows how to say it, feel free to message me with a correct pronunciation because I don't mind having corrections. I need it. I need to be able to say these things correctly, right? So ethanolamines are ammonia compounds used in products as emulsifiers or foaming agents. So again, these are things that give us that squeaky clean feel, that emulsifying agent that's going to make our hair feel clean. It makes us feel good about feeling clean, right? So you'll see it listed on ingredient labels as MEA, DEA, or TEA. Sometimes all of them and sometimes all of them. And again, those are monoethanolamine, diethanolamine, and triethylamine. So we've got 1, 2, and 3, right? All of the MEA, DEA, and TEAs. Phthalates, phthalates. So this is a group of chemicals used in hundreds of products to increase the flexibility and softness of plastics. So plastics on my hair? Yeah, this softens the plastics that are going on my hair. Okay, so mainly phthalates are found in personal hair products like dibutyl phthalate, which is in nail polish. So that's actually what gives us that flexibility to like move the product around, which is okay. But then you've got diethyl phthalate. I'm not okay with that either, by the way. I have to actually start looking into it now that I've done a little bit more research. Like, I understand that I wasn't using this on my hair, but now that I realize it's in my nail care products too, I think it's time to move on. So they're found in perfumes and lotions. And then dimethyl phthalate. So this is the one that's important to you who use hairspray. Most often it's found in hairspray. Again, these are known to be endocrine disruptors and have been linked to increased cancer, breast cancer, and early breast cancer development in girls. So girls, as you know, 13 and are pretty much starting to use hairspray, and actually even now more, even earlier, they're using hairspray. And we think about, you know, the little girls in weddings, and we use their hairspray on them. We're spraying them with potential breast cancer inducing ingredients. Yikes. They also can cause reproductive birth defects in males and females. So unfortunately, this particular ingredient is not disclosed on every product, and it's added in as fragrance. It's the secret formula that's not listed. This is one of the probably the largest major loopholes in terms of products and the FDA, is that you can have formulated a specific line of fragrances and not have to disclose what's in the fragrances. But again, you find that particular great ingredient, phthalate, in most of your hairspray products in terms of your hair care. PEG is another one. So PEG is the abbreviation for polyethylene glycol, and that is used in making cleansers that dissolve oil and grease, as well as thickening a product. So you know how when you get that shampoo, it's got a nice texture, a nice feel to it? Well, this is gonna help with that. PEG is great for that. They are also really, they're effective. Because of their effectiveness, PEGs are often used in caustic sprays in oven cleaners. And yet you can find them in your hair care products. So why don't you just go grab your oven cleaner and spray it on your head, because that's pretty much what you're gonna get when you get a PEG in your product line. Sounds kind of scary to me. So PEGs contribute to the stripping of the natural moisture factor, leaving the immune system vulnerable. And they are potentially carcinogenic. So again, probably a pretty nasty ingredient to get out of your cabinetry. So phenoxyethanol, something along that line. Again, guys, I'm not perfect at these. I'm not the scientist. Scientists, just don't beat me up, okay? I'm doing the best I can to deliver this information. If you guys made the terminology easier for me, I could do that. But this is also known as ethylene glycol monophenol ester. It's a glycol ester and a bactericide. So it functions as a disinfectant, an antiseptic, and an antibiotic. So again, it kind of goes back to that first one with the parabens, where we're looking to keep our product line clean. This is kind of an additive that is going to help it from deteriorating and growing bacteria and all of those lovely things. And it's actually an ingredient that's primarily used in the cosmetic industry, in beauty products. It's also seen in fragrant additives, so that means it might not show up, but it could be definitely involved. The fixative perfumes, in insect repellent ingredients, and in sunscreen, and topical agents, ingredients, and solvents. So again, another one to be aware of. Ethanol or ethyl alcohol is considered broadly toxic and is linked to birth defects following excessive oral ingestion. So I don't suggest like, ingesting your hairspray in your bottle of shampoo, but this is definitely another reason why, if you have ethanol in there, I wouldn't suggest doing it. The potential risks, however, from ethanol and personal hair product is definitely significantly lower than alcoholic beverages, but it's right there on the same level. It's an alcohol. That alcohol, it's going to contain options that, and even if you're not ingesting them via your mouth, you're ingesting little bits of it through your skin, and that in itself is giving you the potential to have the birth defects and toxic behaviors that come from it. The very last one I want to talk about is petrochemicals. So petrochemicals are things like petroleum and mineral oil, and you will find a lot of these in a lot of products, especially for those of us in the curly industry. Mineral oil and petroleum-like products, petrochemicals, are a huge thing. Now, a few years ago, I actually did a what was called the petrochemical cleanse, which literally was to eliminate the petrochemicals out of my body, and it was actually an oil cleanse. And the demonstration that I got this information from took a styrofoam plate, and they took a drop of lemon oil, so a lemon essential oil, so not just like any oil, but lemon essential oils, and they dropped it on the plate, the styrofoam plate. So the styrofoam itself, it stood in as the petrochemical because it is made from petrochemical ingredients. Well, when they put that drop of oil on the plate, it ate through the plate. It didn't like crumble and break through. No, it literally ate through the plate. There was nothing left over when it was done. So those petrochemicals that we put into our system don't have a way to get out. They can't be metabolized. Our bodies can't metabolize them. They can't get rid of them on their own. Petrochemicals and mineral oils can be carcinogenic. They don't let your skin breathe, and we're going to get into this one tomorrow specifically, because we all understand skin health and how our skin needs to be nourished, and it needs to have freedom to be able to breathe, and things along that line. And so it's just as important for our skin and our hair, our scalp, to breathe. But if we're adding petrochemical type products to keep our hair nice and smooth to our scalp, and to our hair, we're actually eliminating the ability for the hair and the scalp to breathe. It also, I know a lot of people who use Vaseline, use petroleum jellies to put on their skin, to nourish the skin. But the truth of the matter is it doesn't nourish the skin. It can't. It puts a buildup, a waxy coat on the skin, but it doesn't actually nourish the skin. It probably actually, as we said before, it doesn't let the skin breathe. So it's probably just putting a coat on the top, and then, what's underneath isn't able to successfully grow. It actually causes more dryness, would be what I would say. The last thing about petrochemicals is that they're estrogen dominant. So again, we go back to the cancers, specifically for us as women. Estrogen dominance is one of those things that definitely can lead to cancers. And one more that I want to touch on, specifically because of the curly community that I tend to serve, are silicones, right? So there are multiple different kinds of silicones out there. There are silicones that build up, there are silicones that wash away, and there are silicones that fill in but don't continue to build after that. So there's so much that I could go into over this one. This could be a whole topic all of its own, and I don't want to spend the last 6 minutes of our talk just talking about silicones, but the understanding that there are silicones that you definitely do not want on your hair. And those silicones, the reason why, the best way for me to kind of explain it to you is oil versus wax, right? Like beeswax. So when you have a ton of beeswax, if you keep putting layers of beeswax on it, right, it gets thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker. Well, that's what happens with most silicones. It just keeps building up a layer, and that built up layer causes heaviness, it causes weight to the hair. And then of course we end up changing our products to get that all off, right? There are silicones that wash away, which is a fantastic option because it can fill in where it needs to and give you the smoothness and the shine that you're looking for. And then, you know, wash away in your next wash. The other reason why silicones, the first form of silicone is really horrible is because you need an SLS or an SLES, a sulfate, in order to remove it. So then you're back to zero. And this is, again, one of the reasons why when we start a product, a lot of times down the road, we have to actually change the product and get a new one. And then there are silicones that actually go to where it needs to be. So where there's damage or where there is just it's not as filled in, it'll fill that section in so that it's even, kind of like patching the road, right? So if we go out, we see them patch the road all the time and they put down the patching stuff. Well, it fills in, but it doesn't cover the whole road, right? Whereas having to do an entire resurfacing of the ground would be, you know, we'd have to take out all of the road in order to put a nice straight road in. Well, we can fill in the patches and just give it so it's got a nice surface, and we don't have the frizziness, we don't have the craziness with just these patches. And that's what some formulations of silicones now do for us as well. So, did you get all that? We got 4 minutes left, and then I'm gonna let you guys go and do your homework. And so before I do that, you know, you're probably going, okay, Leah, that's great. Thanks for all this information, but what the crap do I do now? Well, of course, that's what we're here for the next 5 days to talk about. Number one, but then number two, you know, what are some of the basic options? Of course, you've got sulfate-free shampoos and conditioners. A lot of people are much more conscious of that, and some of the major brands out there have that. Your L'Oreal's, your Redkins, your, what else do we have out there? Your Bedheads, your Keratasis, all of those product lines have something that's sulfate-free now. And that's a great option if you're comfortable with that. Excuse me. You also have the opportunity to go into natural care or organic hair care options. And there are several lines out there. Acura Organics, Rahura, Beauty Counter, Josh Rosebrook, Inner Sense Beauty, Dr. Organic shampoos. And, you know, that's just to name a few of them. There are tons of organic products out there, but don't let the organic compound of that structure or that name hang you up, because to be completely 100% honest, there couldn't be an organic, 100% organic hair care product unless you were keeping it in your refrigerator, because there have to be some sort of preservatives. Natural preservatives are fine, but organic, not necessarily. And then, you know, there's always a debate about where does organic actually come from? Is it technically organic, and what makes it organic, right? There's the regulations on all of that. And since the hair care industry itself is not really regulated by the FDA, how can you say that a hair care product is organic or natural, even for that fact? If you really want to get into it, but more in the case of organic, because there's no regulations on that field. So they can make the claims, and unless someone, you know, refutes that, and the FDA then would go after to do the investigations, that's the only time that would happen. But, you know, there's one product line that I personally suggest. It's called Monate, and it actually encompasses all of the above. It is a natural hair care product. It is a sulfate-free product, and all of those harmful ingredients that we mentioned before are also not in that product line. And I will be sharing with you through the rest of the week. It's actually in a class of its own. It's not a sulfate-free. It's not just a natural hair care product, but it's what we consider an anti-aging hair care product. So it actually detoxes the hair beautifully, all in its own treatment systems. And that's the reason why I truly believe that it's the best product line that you can use to get the best results in a detox process the quickest. It doesn't mean you can't use anything else. I just know that I've seen the results and I've seen the functionalities that it's brought to my clients and all of myself, first and foremost myself, I should say, and then also my clients. So we are down to 1 minute to the end. And I'm super, super excited that you joined me. Thank you so much. I am excited for tomorrow. Now remember, these are not all going to be on the same page. They're going to be on different pages on different days. So if you haven't already signed up and you are watching the replay right now, because this will be posted in a couple different groups or on a couple different pages, but the replays will all be posted in the Happy Hair VIP Boutique. And I do believe I might be sharing them after this process on YouTube as well. But if you know somebody you feel or would love to help with their detox process, please share this with them. They can sign up as well at bit.ly, so bit.ly/spring hair detox. The official spring hair detox actually isn't going to kick off until April 11th, but I wanted to get you guys in the mood, get you guys all set up and get you geared up with the right products so that on April 11th we can all kick off on the same hair detox and share the same journey together. The hair detox process, you move forward with us and you decide that this is something that you want to do. There'll be some one-on-one coaching with me to help you actually be able to get into the detox process, what you can expect, and to just kind of coach you through, the gunk portion of the detox, because it's going to happen. That's part of what a detox is all about, right? And then, of course, to also help you to line up your product line specifically for you, to get you the best prescription that you're going to need to get the hair solutions that you're looking for. And that is something that we can actually do at any point in time this week. So if you already know that you're looking to revamp the closet and eliminate all of these ingredients that we've talked about today, and you're ready to find a great hair care product that's going to detox all of the crap that you've put on your hair and then also give you beautiful, manageable, shiny, longer, stronger, fuller hair through our 90-day detox process, then I've got the product line for you. Feel free to message me directly at Leah. You can email me at curlybosschick@gmail.com, or you can find me here on Facebook, Leah Kanani Maloa. You can also head over to my personal business profile at Leah Moore, and that is actually at Curly Boss Chick here on Facebook. So you can find me at Curly Boss Chick, and you can actually have a conversation with me and I can get you going, because there's no reason why you can't start the process early. I just want to make sure that everyone has their products before we actually kick off the launch of the spring into or step into spring launch. So thank you again. I'm a couple minutes over. We're going to probably keep these to about a half hour in length. I don't really want to go too much over that. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about thinning and shedding hair. Yes, shedding hair is normal and it's actually expected and it's average and everybody does it. You lose about 100 hairs a day, but extreme hair loss and shed in and total hair loss are not expected. That isn't something that we specifically as women relate well to. So thank you again for joining, and I will see you all beautiful tomorrow. If you guys have any questions, post them in underneath the video here, or you can also post them in the Happy Hair VIP Boutique. And do make sure that you have left me a comment with your bad hair day story, so that I can also, I'd love to share some of those. I won't reveal who you are, but I love to share some of those and also then relate them to how we can diagnose the best hair care system for you to get you moving forward. All right, guys, have a beautiful rest of the day and enjoy your Sunday. Bye.